And Whimsy.
And we did not intentionally match today. We got dressed without knowing what the other person was wearing.
You can't see it, but our bottoms match too.
We're just that in sync.
It's weird.
It's kind of weird. Or we like the same colors, so we have a lot of the same ones in our wardrobe.
And a little disconcerting.
We would like to give you an update on some exciting developments in our garden.
Excitement abounds.
First successes for us with gardening. Yay! This is our breakfast today. Look at the breakfast hall.
We got some little green onions.
Some bunching onions that just weren't gonna make it bigger than that.
2 platefuls of kale that really we just took so we could thin them out and see how they grow when they get thinned out.
We were thinning out the herd.
Yeah. And then look at that giant bit of basil that we just needed to clear some space with.
Beautiful and bugless.
And chive.
Which have been here for years now.
Right? Yeah, we just
They've
grabbed
lived
a few
here longer than we have.
We just grabbed a few of those for breakfast this morning, that's all.
That was pretty exciting. It was delicious.
It was delicious.
You know how kale you get from the store has that real kale flavor that's generally kind of unpleasant? I did not get that from this.
Now, what you didn't see in there is that we made a big old omelet with that, and it was amazing.
Basil, chive,
some
green
onions,
lots of kale.
fresh garlic, not from our garden,
Yeah.
but and tons of kale. So much.
It was so good.
kale. Yeah, it was delicious.
Also-
No stems.
Yeah. As opposed to the stuff we've been getting from the frozen food section of the grocery store lately, which I think should be relabeled, oops, all stems.
Pretty much. We're on to you guys.
Now, I think we've already told you about this, but he uncovered a bunch of raspberry bushes that were already on our property that he maintained and kind of devined, and
all it cost me was this. Yeah.
he went to check on them today and brought back this. More haul from our yard today.
This is the early black raspberry harvest. It was really less than 1% of the blackberries out there, but these are the ones that were ready to go, so happy
Black
day.
raspberries, not blackberries.
Black raspberries, sorry.
Those are gonna be so good.
That is a pretty heroic amount. And that is just the tip of those are the super early ripers.
And not even all of them.
Yeah. So we're gonna expect a lot more of those and maybe do some freezing and
Yeah,
some
we might have to get a
cooking.
freezer for the basement. Our garden is going too well.
Yeah.
It's not going too well. It's going well.
A few things are coming off much better than as well as we expected. And most things are not. But
So let's go outside.
yeah, let's take you on a
Show
tour.
you an update. Basil is crushing it. We have harvested some of this today already too. Harvested. This kale was all but dead the other day and has suddenly sprung back out of nowhere.
Very good little microgreens.
And our squash.
Look at this squash. Look at this. It's a jungle out there.
Our kale patch, which has been reduced today down to about 70% of what it was, because
Right.
breakfast, yo.
And look at that jungle. My God.
Then we've got our jalapenos and a random stray kale. It just sort of showed up and was like, what?
We're using it as an experiment to see how far we can cut it down and still have it regrow.
These guys were non-existent until the other day.
And this is the home of our new beets and onions.
Woohoo! We'll see if those go well. I've been told that we can do fall gardening with these, so yay, let's give it a try. So squash, very exciting. They look very healthy and happy. We had our first blossom a couple of days ago, and it was a girl. Unfortunately, there were no boys, and that was sad, so that one's probably not going to be super useful. But the next day we had some boys pop up, and I went and harvested some pollen with a Q-tip and put it in a Ziploc baggie, so next time there are girls around, we will have something that we can make sure that they get pollinated with. So now I have a plastic bag of pollen.
So we have a couple jungles out there right now. Kale and squash are abundant, at least in their green growth right now. And we're hoping for the squash fruits. And then Bingley.
Little update on our poor little cherry tree that couldn't.
Our poor sad Bingley.
So many of you know we've had some issues with our poor little cherry tree.
We bought it too small. It should have been yay tall. It was yay tall. That's perfect height for bunnies, and you know our yard is overridden with bunnies, and we love it that way. But they really like cherry trees despite them being poison to them.
And apparently a groundhog now too. We caught eating the kale in the ground level patch.
He was having so much fun rolling around and snuffling in the ground level patch, which in general we have designed so that the bunnies and the other critters can eat them and be happy. But he didn't even notice when we came out, and when we finally made some noise, he was so shocked that he didn't know what to do.
So the tree company that we use, fastgrowingtrees.com, well, you're the one who spoke with them, so.
Right. I wanted to know if, even though all the tree leaves had been eaten and all the branches had been eaten off this thing, and they decided to nibble a little bit on the bark, if the cherry tree was dead officially, or if next year it would spring back. And they said, do a little quarter test where about 6 inches above the soil line, you scrape it with a quarter on the bark and tell us what, or show us a picture of it. And then we'll tell you, and then we'll move from there. I don't know if they're planning on giving us a refund or just planning on telling me the answer to my question. Either way is fine by me, to be honest. But that's what we did.
So that's our little garden update. We've got some pretty promising stuff happening there. I'm very excited about next year. We're going to get more of the tall beds, and
next week next week the black raspberries will all be ready to harvest, so we expect buckets and buckets of that. Within 2 weeks, I think our peaches are going to be ready to go, and that's going to be exciting. There's a few hundred peaches on those trees right now. So yay!
If you're enjoying these videos or any of our other videos, please hit like and subscribe.
It's the thing that looks like this.
Well, subscribe says subscribe.
Oh, yeah, I can't really make that one out. And now,
let's frost the cake.